my job's done in Kodiak. Be getting back there in about a week. I'm thinking I'm gonna go check 2 rivers this time. And I'll check the 3rd one. Actually, there's a couple of others, but there's plenty of time to check out the other ones. But I'd like to get back there, pick up the mail that I've ordered in, and then really get going. That's the hard one. Takes a bit of work, that guy. Okay, we're away. The motor off soon. Away we go. Well, we're not exactly breaking any speed records, but around about, I don't know, 8 to 10 knots, I reckon, of wind, doing 4 knots. So, not too bad. We'll get across there. I mean, that's what we were doing the other day, motoring at 20,000 RPM against the tide. So, not costing us a cent. We'll get across there and have a casual sail in the sunshine. I could do with a fish for dinner too, so I might as well get a lure out. Perfect trolling speed. You never know. In this part of the world, you never know. Well, as I said, you never do know. My boxer shorts getting a bit of sun on these white legs of mine. We've just about run out of wind. And we've got some sort of fish here. Putting up a pretty good fight. My reel is disconnecting though, the gears. So there's something wrong with it. It's been doing a good job for 5 years, but I've got a feeling this is going to be a salmon, and a fairly decent one too. It hasn't come to the surface, but oh no, rockfish. Oh no, lingcod, small one. See that? Just disconnects totally. Small lingcod. Smallish lingcod. He can go back. That's the problem here. You get a good wind, you never know if it's going to get too strong or too light. Loaded with logs. You can smell it. Smells beautiful. Pine. Spruce, who knows? A lot of timber there though. Got the sails back up, but figured I might as well motor Pretty light breezes. Getting close. Getting close. Just got to round this rocky island up ahead and swing into the bay. Pretty barren island here as well, but looks nice though. It's nice. Just hope it stays calm. Pretty open to a southerly. If the wind stays kind of east all the way around to west through the north, it should be okay. Just realised that this Kodiak Island, or at least this part of it, it's barren because it's been logged. It's been logged and there's been no regrowth planting by the looks of it. And I'd say it's been logged a year or a couple of years at least ago, but there's been no natural regrowth except for grass. Kind of interesting. A bit colder perhaps, more exposed. I don't know. Further south in British Columbia and in southeast Alaska, there'd be shrubby kind of regrowth. Even maybe spruce and fir trees, pine. Here it doesn't seem to be much at all. Must be logging somewhere, judging by that ship that just passed a while ago. So stacked to the hilt with logs from somewhere. Bad spot. It's beautiful. Okay, loaded up. Got a fry pan, I got some veggies. Got to catch a fish. Putting pressure on myself. It's usually not that difficult though. Even if it's just a rockfish. Gonna head out to this point out here and have a bit of a look out there. I've got a 10 weight fly rod. I'm super keen to get a halibut on the fly. It's not impossible. I've caught one casting a little soft plastic lure, so I should be able to get one on a fly in theory. Not easy though, not easy at all. However, I'm pretty eager to have a go, so I always chuck a 10 weight fly rod in. You never know what sort of ground you come across. But I'll probably go, it's getting late, so I'm gonna go try and catch a rockfish or bottom fish of some kind. If it's a halibut, great. If it's something else, great too. That lingcod that I caught trolling, he was undersized. He's less than 70 centimeters, and that's undersized in my book. I'm not too sure what it is in Alaska, but I know in BC, 68 centimeters, too small. And I agree with that, so I let them go. And anything bigger than that is too big for me anyway, so I pretty much never eat lingcod. Soft flesh fish anyway, I don't really think much of it. And I'd rather catch a halibut for food, or even just a flounder. Anyway, we'll see what we can get. Jig to the bottom. Preferably without knocking the boat, letting all the fish know you're there. I chuck it forwards a bit so that it sinks beneath the boat if I'm drifting that way. Not very deep though, it's only about 15 metres. But there's a few bommies around, there's lots of kelp, and it's shallow. We'll see what's around. Still pretty close to Kodiak, so a spot like this would get hammered basically. Power boat, they'd be over here in half an hour. Still, I would have thought there's some fish around. If there is though, they normally smack it straight away. Either too heavily fished, which I think is the main likelihood, or it's not deep enough. But it's only about 10 metres here amongst the kelp, but usually there's schools of blackfish, black rockfish, who are kind of semi-pelagic. They're kind of mid-water zone. They school a little bit. I've caught them on the fly rod, particularly in Canada, and usually this would be a prime area for them, but there's nothing, not even a hit. So the fact that I can see the point that you have to round to get into Kodiak, I'd say that's probably got more to do with it than the actual water itself, because it should be fishing good. Anyway, I'll troll into the bay and see what we can see along the way. Wow, I've trolled, jigged. There is no fish here. This is what happens when somewhere becomes well known as a fishing spot. Anywhere close to the town, the fishing becomes hammered and devoid of fish, basically. Particularly when you've got fishing guides, like I was fishing out of Homer a while ago, and there was a guy in his mid-30s on the boat, a guide growing up in the area, a guide his whole life, and he caught a 60 centimetre lingcod and was thinking about killing it. And it took a couple of girls on the boat with some common sense who said, no, let it go. And he let it go. A guide. I mean, it's your livelihood, man. And he's out recreational fishing, contemplating killing a 60 centimetre lingcod. And he grew up there in Homer. What are you thinking? You know? Anyway, yeah, and there was little rockfish coming on board. Everything was getting killed. Everything. Little wrasse. You know, you don't have to kill everything. Just because you catch it doesn't mean you have to kill it. Anyway, well, what do you know? A tiny, tiny rockfish. Fishing is hot. That's it. So much for breakfast on the beach. Or dinner, I should say. Maybe that's the problem. I'm trying to catch for the wrong meal. Maybe his father's down there. We'll have another go. Pretty poor though. Well, that's it for me. I was a bit over optimistic. Got the whole dinner on the beach bag ready to go. Go catch a fish, it's usually pretty easy. Not close to the biggest city. In Alaska, it's not, it seems. Not that I'm talking about Kodiak, but Anchorage isn't that far away either, so people come over here to Kodiak fishing for the weekend, you know. Yeah. So to get my stuff organised and head off. Southwest from here we go. But I'm out of here tomorrow. There's a couple of rivers around the point which are a bit bigger, which could have, seen that we're in May, they might, fingers crossed, they might have king salmon coming into them. Who knows? I haven't yet seen a king salmon in a river in the past 5 summers, and that's fishing from May or even from April at one stage, April through to October. I've seen coho in one river in Canada, and I've seen king salmon in 0. So I'm not really holding out too much with higher hopes, but you never know. Maybe there's a Dolly Varden or a rainbow trout, who knows. Right here though, this area, I'm not interested at all. I've had one hit, that little brown or copper rockfish. That's it. In a couple of hours of fishing. Pretty poor. So moving on. We'll come ashore and have a look around. Go back out and cook dinner on the boat. Tin fish probably. Canned salmon. Canned pink salmon. Tastes pretty good actually. Pink salmon from a can. I reckon it almost tastes better than the real thing. I guess it is the real thing, but it's, you know, it's in a can, so it's kind of not the real thing. You know what I mean? Tastes pretty good in a can though. I don't know what they do with it. Anyway, it can only get better, I guess. We will find fish, I'm sure. Beautiful little forest here, they haven't cut down yet. Quite interesting in all the rocks and definitely the cliffs. You can see the layers of volcanic ash from just millions of years, I guess, or yeah, millions of years of volcanic activity that's created most of the rocks, I guess, and definitely the bedrock in the cliffs. Quite interesting. A lot of volcanoes in this part of the world. What do you know? Come all this way, try to get away from everything, and we've got cabins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cabins. Incredible. There's a part of the world that's big on putting accommodation on top of stuff that is beautiful, like naturally beautiful. It's North America. It's incredible. The Kiwis in New Zealand are pretty good at it too, actually, with their little batches everywhere, but at least they're kind of little cabins. These are somebody's holiday homes, much like the batches in New Zealand actually, I guess. Parts of Australia they're pretty bad at it too, but yeah, North America, I call it Lake Tahoe syndrome. Find somewhere beautiful and then bring urbanization to it. You come out here to get away from all that stuff. I don't know whatever happened to camping, you know, come and pitch a tent. Get into the wilderness. Why do you have to be, you know, have your little home luxuries in the wilderness? Rough it a little bit. It's kind of a shame, I think. People like me try to get off the beaten track and you come around the corner and then there's civilization right in front of you. Well, we've got a bit of a front coming in today. There's a low that's coming in across towards the Aleutians from Guam. It doesn't sound that big. It's a 9 something, 980 or something, but yeah, big enough to get gale force winds. It's meant to hit tonight, but I can see a front coming already, and good thing I was going to move anyway, because where I'm heading to is a little, or quite a lot more sheltered than most areas around here at the moment. It's a shame I'm not close to the sort of more exposed possibilities for surf, I guess, but it's also going to be nice that I'm well and truly out of the way of any swell whatsoever. But where I'm heading to is way up an inlet. As I was saying, I was hoping to find some king salmon up there, but there's definitely no chance of surf. It's a funny game out here in Alaska. You got to be in the right place at the right time for just about everything. It's specific areas that you have to be for everything. Fishing, salmon in particular, and definitely surf. Comes and goes in a flash. Anyway, better get going. I can see it coming.